It's wonderful to have you back here at the Wild Patch Homestead with me. I'm just taking you around the garden today. Let's do a little bit of harvesting and see what we've got growing at the moment, because this garden is outrageous. It is really kind of taking over and it's hard to find the pathways at the moment, which is a little bit of a struggle. I also just wanted to put a tick awareness warning. I am going to be discussing my health issues on this video, and yeah, that is one of the warnings I just need to let you know about, just in case it's triggering for anyone. But otherwise, enjoy the video with me, and I'm just super grateful that you're here. Thanks so much for joining me while I potter around the garden as best as I can. It's not easy. It's very overgrown. I love that I called the channel the Wild Patch, because that's just been my gardening style for years. I love how, magical it looks, and when nature takes over, I think it's beautiful. And it has been. But I'm realizing it's very impractical when you need extra assistance, which I didn't expect at 34 years of age. My husband and I had planned a retirement property with raised gardens, and we've envisioned it. And ironically, life was like, well, you already had a plan, here you go. So look, some days I'm okay, I can walk totally fine. Today I'm a little unsteady, so the cane's okay. Other days I'm in a wheelchair. I do have a walker, which I think is amazing. It's so much more stable. It's got a seat so I can sit down if I need to and have a rest. I just can't walk for long distances. Otherwise, even if they are working fine, they all of a sudden stop working. And mystery. It's always fun to have a mystery in life. And the garden, I can't fit the walker down there at the moment. It's the rows are too small. I have a garden bed in the way, so I can't even get to the raised beds, even if I wanted to. But that's just the new way of life now. So I'm going to get through this season, and if I can't cope or I physically deteriorate further and I can't get in here, my husband and children have kindly said that they will do so for me. So it's for us really in the end, isn't it? So anyway, I'm still not diagnosed, but we're pretty sure it's a neurological disorder. So I've had a lot of testing. It takes a couple of weeks for the EEG results to come back because I have seizures. They just want to see what kind of seizures they are. So I always have to let someone know if I'm coming to the garden so that they can keep an eye on me, poke their head out once in a while and make sure I'm okay. Lucky for me, I have amazing support, but I understand there's a lot of people that don't, which really saddens me, but I also want to help others. This is not really the direction I saw the channel going. But you know what? It's a channel about my life, and this at the moment is my life. And I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna put a video up. I've been in the city, which is, it took me and my husband maybe 7 hours to get to our my neurologist appointment last week, and we stayed with family who live close-ish enough to Melbourne, the city, which we're super grateful for. It was one less thing we had to worry about, but we had to go back to the city for more testing, and I'll be back there again very soon. I have I think it's a trial that they're putting me into, but we'll wait and see. It's either that or they have a rehabilitation thing as well. So, but you know what? Sometimes I can walk and talk fine. My speech is great right now. And other times it just, goes bye-bye and comes back later. It is what it is at the moment, but that's kind of my main symptoms. The rest I'm not going to go into. They're my main ones. Woo. Oh, and ticks, which you may have noticed. It's too hard for me to hide the ticks and film because they're there so much. I would never get content out if I always pick that one moment in time where I don't have ticks, because they're here most of the time. Alright, that's my health update for what I have. The garden, we'll try and keep going, but obviously when we move, it's gonna look very different. And that's okay. I'm glad it's happened now then, rather than getting to a new place, investing in that and setting that up. And we hadn't considered that we might need to set it up for like a medical condition. So it's kind of like silver linings. I'm always looking at the positives. I'm really trying to find, all the good things, and like this, I'm super grateful. There is more food out there that I could harvest. I could pick the spinach beet. I've got some more leeks that are really small. Like, these aren't big, but they really it's a miracle that they've lasted this long in the heat that we've had. So I thought I would pick them anyway. Lots of spring onions, which I'm always gathering because I'm dehydrating these at the moment, and just trying to get those. Look, I've got more here in a pot. I want to turn it into onion powder. My button squash, which got away from me, these aren't high producers. I'm finding the plants I bought from Bunnings, I'm getting like 1 or 2 off of each one, but maybe they'll pick up, I don't know. A couple of lovely zucchinis. There was another one there, but I'm going to let it go for another day or two. I've already got 4 of these sitting inside, I think 3 or 4, and I have another one of these. My dog, he's old. He's like 10 years old and he's a bull mastiff, so he's pretty elderly now, and he, I'm pretty sure has dementia. Anyway, he has like these puppy moments, and he ate one of my squash, so I couldn't be mad. He was having the best time of his life, rolling around, and yeah. So funny. You may be wondering why I picked the capsicums so small, because they're not very leafy, and they're just getting sun scald all over them, and they very rarely make it to the point where they get any red on them without just totally rotting. So I'm going to dice these up. I have a little chopper that I can dice these in like really quick, and I'll run them into I'll vacuum seal them and freeze them, so that way I can add them to dishes still. One singular cucumber. I don't know, I've got some cucumber plants growing, covered in flowers. My garden is full of pollinators, but I've only got one cucumber, and I'm gonna laugh so hard if in a month's time I'm overrun with them and I've just complained about it. But this is my second one, I should say. I did eat a little one. I don't know the variety. I think it might be an alpha beta, but like alphabet. I don't really know how you say it. I'm trying to think of the spelling. Doesn't matter. I'm sure you all know what I mean. But my son kind of went through and randomly put cucumber seedlings in the ground, like seeds, just sowed a bunch of seeds, and I have no idea what he did. So I'm pretty sure that's what this one is. I do have a pickling variety, but I don't think it would have got that big if it was the pickling variety. And then I have got some Great Northern white beans growing at the moment. So what I'm doing with these is saving the seed, and then when we get to our next property, I'm going to sow them, and we're going to have a whole row of beans, because these are going to be really nice to add to soups, stews, and I can use them for baked beans. I think they're going to be really, really delicious actually. So I've been doing that a lot with this garden. Instead of producing mass amounts of food in the last 12 months, because I know that we're moving at some point. It's a whole ordeal. I'm not going to go into it again, but yeah, we're hoping to get back up on the market in the next couple of months or so. We're having some council stuff, so see what they come back with, and if we can, then we will sell, and I'll have a huge seed collection. I just kind of am letting most things like go to seed, collecting mass amounts of it, and so that we can take it to the next property and grow large amounts of food. We're definitely going to do things differently at the next place, but this has been a fantastic start garden and huge learning experience. And I think it's beautiful even in its craziness. I try not to look at all the imperfections. I know the soil quality is not great and things like that, but I mean, considering the soil quality is not great, this area is too shaded and things like that. I've got a huge tree. They say not to grow under a huge tree. We're still getting a lot of food out of this space. If I can get a bag a week, that's a bag of food from the supermarket we didn't have to buy. So I'm pretty happy whenever that happens. And before you know it, these pumpkins will be ready. I've got that spaghetti squash that will be ready. I've got like loads of them growing on that. I've got loads of rock melons growing. Oh my gosh, what else? I've got okra. The amaranth is a grain. I'm definitely gonna save the seeds, and they're growing everywhere like crazy, so I'm gonna keep those. And yeah, so pretty excited about that too. What else have I got? I grew some corn, but honestly it's so slow. The soil where I like so the seed is really compacted, and I think it needs more water, so I have to keep moving this sprinkler around so that because it's a long garden and we haven't put retic in. Another learning experience, get the irrigation in. But yeah, and then I've got my chicken and her babies, and they're all having the time of their life in there. I really don't mind if they dig much up. There's not too much I would say that they could really damage, because the plants are so established and they only come out for like an hour a day, and they potter around the entire garden, and so they kind of just scratch up, you know, get that soil turning and they're fertilizing it, and I'll take that as a win. I really enjoy that aspect of it. That's the garden, and I guess, yeah, we have a lot to change around here, but for an urban homestead, a backyard garden, you know, this is a big garden, and I really hope it inspires someone. I hope you can see what you really can do with a space, and you could definitely make it more productive than I have. I haven't done lots of like block planting, but I will in the future, and I'll be a bit more conscious of that when I'm not concentrating on seed saving. But regardless, you know, if you're really thinking about starting a garden, go for it. It is worth its weight in gold. This area, we didn't spend any money at all. I got free horse manure from a local person, and I think my husband got some free sheep manure. We've got the chickens, so I use their manure. We just had to dig up the grass by hand, and we had some Rio. I don't think we had to buy more Rio. I might be wrong. The concrete Rio, which we used as like a fence, and my husband built gates from stuff that we had laying around. So that's why we were happy to do the extension, whereas this garden on this side honestly cost quite a bit, because we did very raised gardens. We put the blue stone down and we made it really landscapey and pretty, but you know, it wasn't big enough for what we wanted and what we needed. We're a family of 5, and at the time, you know, we wanted to grow as much food as possible. And don't get me wrong, we still grow a lot of food out of this space, but we could grow more. So you don't have to spend lots of money. You can look around for some, you know, free items and build your own soil, and if I'd kept up with that, our soil would be a lot better. But that's okay. You live and you learn. So that's what this garden's been for us. It's been one big experiment, so that when we have a larger property, we have played around and know what we're going to do at that one. So, but just for a backyard urban homestead, you can do it. You can grow a lot of food, even if it's just a bag every single week. That's the garden. So thanks so much for joining me this week, and I hope you have a ripper week wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Bye.